Welcome to www.happynumbers.org. Today's lesson, solving algebraic equations with two unknowns or two variables. Let's take a look at here. We have an equation. We have y is equal to 2 times x. And we have two unknowns here, y and x. And this is very simple to do. The answer to an equation that has two unknowns, there'll always be two answers. Well, what we do is we make ourselves a table of values. And we have x and y, and we say, well, let's make believe that x is 0. X can be 0, and let's say it could be 1, and let's say x could be 2, and let's say x can be 3. Well then, what we're going to do is we're going to take each value of x, plug it into our equation, and figure out what the value of y will be. So if x is 0, we're going to figure out what the value of y is. So let's take 0 and plug it in here. This would be y is equal to 2 times 0. And we know 2 times 0 is 0, so y is equal to 0. So when x is equal to 0, in this equation, y is equal to 0. And that's how we have two answers. Okay, let's then say, when x is equal to 1, what will y equal? Well, if x is 1, y is equal to 2 times 1, which is 2. So when x is 1, y is 2. Let's look at when x is 2. Well, we'll substitute 2 for x. Y, oh, my bad. Y is equal to 2 times 2, which is 4. So, in this equation, when x is 2, y is 4. And let's take a look at when x is 3. Well, we'll substitute 3. Y is equal to 2 times 3, which is 6. So in this equation, when x is 3, y equals 6. That's all that's to it. We set up a table of contingencies, an if-then table. We say if x equals this, and then we figure out what y is equal to. Let's take a look at this one. Y is equal to 2 times x minus 3. Well, good. Let's say that y, so we'll pick some values for y. We'll say y can be negative 2, x can be negative 2, x can be negative 1, x can be 0, and let's say x can be positive 1. Usually when you pick your values for your tables, it's good to pick positive and negative numbers. It's good to pick 0, and it's good to keep the numbers small so that you're working with small numbers. Well, let's see what happens when we figure out if x is negative 2, what will y be using this equation? Well, y equals 2 times x is negative 2 minus 3. Well, y is equal to positive 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus, we're combining it with a negative 3. Well, a negative 4 combined with a negative 3 gives me negative 7. So when x is negative 2, y is negative 7. Now let's look at when x is negative 1. So we'll substitute negative 1. Y is equal to 2 times negative 1 minus 3. Y is equal to, well, positive 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 combined with a negative 3. Y is equal to negative 2 combined with a negative 3, which is negative 5. So in this equation, if x is -1, then y is equal to -5. Let's go here. If x is 0, so we substitute, y is equal to 2 times 0 minus 3. Whoops, my bad, I don't need that. Well, y is equal to, well, 2 times 0 is 0, so y is equal to -3. So, in this equation, if y is 0, if x is 0, y is -3. And let's try the last one. Let's put 1 in, y is equal to 2 times 1 minus 3. Y is equal to 2 combined with -3, which is -1. So we have now we've set up our values for x, plugged them into our equation that had 2 unknowns, and we were able to solve for y. So if x is -2, then we solved y is -7. If x is -1, y is -5. If x is 0, y is -3. If x is +1, y is -1. Excellent. I'll put a problem up for you. And I'll let you work this one. Let's say y equals x plus 4. And I'm going to give you the values. I want you to use x is 0, y is 1, x is 1, x is 2. I keep saying y, and x is 3. Figure out now what y will equal. Put your DVD or video on pause and work it out, and then turn it back on again. Okay, let's see. If x is 0, well then y is equal to 0 plus 4, which is 4. Now, what happens if x is 1? Well, y is equal to 1 plus 4, which is 5. If x is 2, y is equal to 2 plus 4 equals 6, and you can see the pattern here. And if x is 3, then y is equal to 3 plus 4, which is 7. Well, good. This is a pretty simple skill set. Quick review. If we're working with two unknowns, we set up a table, an if-then table. We put values for x. Usually we pick small values, let's say -1, 0, +1. And then we substitute x into our equation, and we figure out what y is. Here, if x is -1, y would equal -1 plus 9, which would give us 8. So in this equation, when x is -1, y is 8. If x is 0, well, y would be 0 plus 9, which would be 9. And obviously, if x is 1, then y would be 1 plus 9, which would equal 10. Well, very good. Now, that's working with equations with two unknowns, and we will have two answers for each one. We will have a x and a y, and it's if x is this, then y will be that, and we just substitute in our equation. Excellent. Thank you.